94 companies report earnings on Tuesday, November the 11th, including Oklo, Tsly Limited, and Nbis. So I thought I would go over NBIS. We ended the day at $109.95. That is down 1.2%. Now, this is where we landed. To the north side takes us to 2 standard deviations, and that is roughly $116.55. Above that, at another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, that would be 120.43, and then down the road, potentially 124.04. Now, to the south side, the median takes us to roughly 108.98. Below that, at -2 standard deviations and another level of support and another potential buy-in area, 101.54, 97.71, and another potential buy-in area as well as another potential stop loss area, 93.84. The company is expected to bring in $155 million. Now, for the week, we are down nearly 18%. For the month, down 18.5%. And for the year, we are up 424%. And according to the analysts, the next price target is $161.40, which represents a 46.79% return from where we are. So there is plenty of room to go to the upside. So according to 6 analysts, not very many, the next target, however, is 130, then 160, 140, and then 206. Now, this gap closed to the upside, 109. We gapped down, so then we reversed to the upside, and that already closed at 119.21. This is resistance, resistance, resistance here, and you can see the clear sell-off. And then this gap to the downside closed at 106.25-ish. Let me flip this over to the daily to give you some targets. It's been a while since I've looked at this. This was an old target that I marked out on September 19th to 127.20. So the range that we are in is to the upside around 128.91, and to the south side, roughly $86.79. We have a gap that will take us down to $64.34, and then we have this gap as well, and that will take us to, oops, let me move this out of the way. First, I got to drag it beyond this point here, otherwise it won't work because I have my magnet turned on. There, roughly 54.93. That's not going to come easy, but there is a potential there. We've got other potential gaps to the south side, but we shall see if that fills. The RSI going down slightly. For the week, okay, we cracked here and it lined up with resistance, and you know that's going to fall. So we are just selling off after being overbought. And here oversold, and look at that. Price was down to $14 and 14 something here, 14.10. So that's the weekly RSI, and then on the monthly, let's see. The lines have not been marked out because of where I have my length set, but just know that beyond this 70 point, of course, we see a pullback. All right, now let me take you to a ticker that I traded today, Soxl. I was going to do a video on Sunday, and I didn't. And I had a sell order, and it triggered. First, let me give you the targets for Tuesday, Veterans Day, 44.96. Let me change that to purple. We have 47.29, 50.05. This is a gap fill also to the upside, and then down the road, 52.82. The middle of the trend now takes us to 41.75, and from where we are, that is support. I will anticipate a bounce off of that or just grinding sideways, but we are still in a slight downward channel on the 5, and then -2 standard deviations will take us to 36.25. The RSI going down on the 5. And look at this oversold area here, and price was at 38.96. And let's give you some other targets for down the road. 33.45 and roughly 30.70. I still own some shares at 31.79. I think that's a gap down there. And at 9.35 right here. So the trade I got out of, I bought in on Friday when the market started to tank. I bought in too soon, bought in, and then it went down. It happens to me all the time, to the best of us, but I did not set a stop loss. And then it bounced off of this support line. And remember, the calculations constantly change. So when I bought it, it could have been at -2, and then it adjusts. So then we ran up, and then I hit a sell order, didn't go back to continually adjust this, and I got out with a return of 7.18% for a one-day trade. Not too shabby. Now, I need to clean up some things. So this gap, we flushed down, so then I bought in because I wanted to trade this gap. I'm a gap girl and not the retail store. Okay, so that took us to 42.83. And that is no longer in play. There was this gap to the downside, and that took us to 41.38, no longer in play. Oops, wrong one. Okay, and then this gap, which almost lined up to an area that I just happened to just extend. Now, did it really touch right here? Yeah, I'll just give it the win. 43.61, no longer a landmine that we have to be aware of. We already exploded, then went down, and then went back up again. And what about this one? This one also ended up where I just happened to stop extending it to the right. 47.27 previously, and then this gap closed to the downside at 47.93. And then what did I do with this? Was that? Oh, I have to clean this up. Sometimes I get sticky fingers and then I bump my lines. All right, so we gapped up, which means it will fill to the downside, and it did right here. That took us down to 48.16, the 52-week high, $50.76, which was up here. Very nice. All right, and what can we look forward to? Oh, I need to clean this one up. Yeah, I have not looked at this like thoroughly in a long time. Okay, that touched right here, took us down to 40.30, delete, and we have this landmine. All right, and this one needs to be cleaned up as well. That touched right here. That took us to 39.06. All right, 34.91. I'll definitely be buying for a trade. I'm keeping the shares at 9.35, and then I'll sell anything above that because I don't care to keep it. I'm only keeping certain equities And Soxl, I will only keep the ones that I bottom dwelled and bought at 935. Everything else I don't care about. And then I need to extend all of these gaps to the south side as well. I need to clean that up, but another time, because I want to go over also another trade I took today. So I sold Soxl, Tsly, and I traded MSOS 3 times today just to get rid of some shares because we bounced. Now let's go to Tsly. I did not